Kohalo, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ruach HaKodesh. Let the elders that rule well be counted worthy of double honor, especially they who labor in the word and doctrine. To the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. Shalom, brothers and sisters. It's your brother Yashar, back with another epistle. So, on our original story, we reported that Quebec had a curfew between 10 p.m. Eastern Time, I believe, to about 5 a.m. And there is 57 protesters, and one of them got arrested. Allegedly, that's what it was reported on. Now, the second piece to the story is Quebec backtracks plans to allow dog walking after curfew. Alright, it says, while not currently allowed, the provincial government says it will permit dog walking as soon as possible. So expect a lot more people to be pet owners. Or expect a lot of pet stores to be selling a lot more than usual. Following public outrage, who knew the power of a whole bunch of people teaming up on the government, what it could do, right? Quebec once again plans to allow dog walking between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m., the hours covered by the province's latest curfew. As currently drafted in the ministerial decree, the fact of leaving your residence to walk your dog is not one of those exceptions to go outside of curfew hours, the Ministry of Health and Social Services said in an email to Presse Canadienne. However, it is the government's intention to include this missing exemption again as soon as possible. So they don't really have a time frame. They're just saying that they're going to do it. Added spokesperson Marie-Hélène Aymon. The decree for the province's previous curfew, which ended in May 2021, specified a person would be permitted outside after hours for the purpose of walking a dog, so long as they stayed within 1 kilometer of their residence. Other exemptions to the previous curfew, such as going to a gas station or accompanying someone in need of help, are still included in the new decree. So a lot of people are going to be pumping gas just for the sake of it. And a lot of people are going to be helping a lot more just to escape their sad reality, because if you don't have the truth, all you have is a lie. On Friday, the Canadian Civil Liberties Association said the government has presented no evidence that a curfew will work to slow the spread of the virus. That is beautiful information. Like, what facts, what studies do these so-called motherfuckers have to say that it's supposed to slow the spread of the plague? Right? I mean, as I brought in my previous epistle, what? All of a sudden the plague just decides to pack it in every night between the hours of 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. A curfew is particularly problematic because it purports to empower police officers to stop and question individuals simply for being outdoors at certain times of day. Doesn't that sound a lot like martial law to you? Right? And we all know that it's just a test in Quebec before it's nationwide, before this is reality. And the way that ESOG operates is called gradualism. So it's just like you have a bucket, and each hour you fill that bucket up just a little bit, right? Before you know it, it's full, and then you have a full bucket of water when all you started was a droplet. It's the same thing with this. It creeps and creeps and creeps. It's just like when you see construction around your area. At first it was all dirt or land, and then slowly buildings come up, places come up, and then before you know it, it's a whole new area. It's the same thing with these laws. A law here, a law there, a law here, a law there. Then before you know it, it's a whole different landscape. Here we go. The burden of these police stops is likely to fall disproportionately on racialized that's just a political term for saying if your skin is brown, they're gonna follow you around town. You know what I'm saying? If you're Native American, so called, even if you're Latino, I don't know why you be in Quebec, but hey, we're all over the place. If you're West Indian, so-called West Indian, right, you're gonna be stopped. And other marginalized groups. Alright, going down to the bottom, Quebec is the only province in Canada to use a curfew as part of its efforts to control the spread of a previous curfew introduced in early January 2021 was in effect for more than 5 months. Because it's a test. That's all this really is. You gotta test the waters, right? And then once they get the desired results, they're going to move it probably to Alberta and then Prince Edward Island, Nunavut and what have you, and then all the way to Ontario, because that's where most people in Canada live, in the province of Ontario. So I want to scroll back up. There's a key word here.
Good evening, everyone.
Oh, hell no, I'm not trying to hear that. Shit, where's that word? Oh, there we go. Decree. Alright, so we're going to go to Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees. This is an unrighteous decree. It's not based off the 613 laws which govern the world and govern the Israelites, right? Those laws have been in place. They've never changed because they cover all aspect of every single thing. They're perfect. They're divine. They're not inspired by man. They're inspired by Yahweh Shai Rochak Dash, all the way from Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, the Heavenly Father. It don't get no higher than the Most High, I'll tell you that. Alright, and that right grievousness which they have prescribed, because this is grievous, and you already know, you may have elect that live in Quebec, and this is extremely grievous to their soul, but because they're the elect, they will persevere, all through the power of Yahweh Bashim Yahshai. But for everybody else, they're going 730, which is slang for crazy. Alright, they don't have a true spiritual outlet. All they have is carnal shit. So what happens when you escape life by going out and you can't go out? How are you're gonna turn to drugs, you're gonna turn to binge watching, and before you know it, you're destroyed. And that's what they want, because Esau, Edom, the ones who makes this laws, which is known today as the so-called white man, he is happy when there is death. He can't go to sleep unless he's caused some to be destroyed. In fact, let's end it off with Proverbs chapter 4, verse 16. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief. And this is just straight up mischief. But it also goes to show you how, with enough people fighting, the government has no choice but to back down. It's the classic story of Alice in the Wonderland. The voice was so terrifying when they finally pulled back the veil. It's this decrepit old Edomite man. You have like what? I don't know. I'll just throw out a number. I don't know. Let's just say like 300 or less government officials versus a population of millions. You see, but their whole thing is witchcraft and fear mongering. There's this dude on YouTube I watch occasionally, like for comedic purposes. He goes by the name Cassidy Campbell, and he did a social experiment, and he asked the people, If you took off the TV, would you really know that there's a pandemic going on? And a lot of people answered no, we wouldn't. But because you have the TV on, you're constantly getting television programming, you are being brainwashed. There's this brother that goes to camp, and he brought out how his mom was actually physically getting sick because she had the news on all day in the background. If you have that all day in the background and you're constantly being told numbers are rising, this is spreading, you're gonna get scared. Esau Edom knows this. All right, here we go. And their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall. And I read a lot of news articles from all different, talking about all sorts of topics. One of them is mental health. Mental health is on the decay. I mean, it was already terrible, but because I'm talking about in pre-COVID, it was terrible, but there was so much distraction, so much going on that it was swept under the rug. But now that this beautiful plague happened, you see mental illness at an all-time high. Pills are being popped, drugs are being smoked, especially in Ontario, man. There's a weed dispensary on every block in Toronto. And it's just absolutely mind-blowing because marijuana is not the key. In fact, it is destroying your mental health even worse. But that's a whole nother topic. And you just see society just crumble. And now what's happening in Quebec is very soon to happen in other provinces, as I said before. So we're just going to end it off there. I hope you were edified. Shalom.